just going to put this back on the table. Yeah. Oh no, I just didn't put the music. That was to make that was your registration prize. The shirts haven't arrived, but you can have those. Those haven't arrived yet either. Those will be here by Friday.
We're going to play chorale number 5 today. Lots of dynamic contrast in this chorale. Very explicit dynamics. No guesswork required. For those of you who start at the very beginning in the chorale, it's only a few voices each time that have these forte, piano, crescendo entrances. So let's see here. Alto saxes and horns are the only ones who play on the downbeat of the first measure, and then all trumpets and trombones play on beat 3. Trumpet 1 does not have a forte piano crescendo, forte piano. They start at mezzo forte. They stay there because That's the only instrument that changes pitches on the downbeat of the second measure. So again, read very literally into the dynamics, and once we spin through this once, we'll go ahead and take some tuning pitches and go to Longford Legend, which we did not play last week. Here we go. I suspect we probably have a lot of people who just don't have this music. Is that the case? Okay, that's what I thought. Those are all the trumpets. Okay. Do we have? I know. So yeah, we won't get into that announcement now. Do we have any printed copies here? Is this a thing that we have in stock? Okay, cool. I'll make sure to reshare the digital copies anyway. So if you're reading off of an iPad or other tablet, or if you have your own printer, you can bring that for next time. But I would like to. I'd like to move back to having chorales instead of using the music as our warm-up. So, all right, again from the top, we may just have to imagine some sounds. That's okay. Here we go. Measure 1. Great job following. All right, 2 tuning pitches, please. First for woodwind, second for brass, and then Longford Legend, first movement. Here we go. Last time we played this, we slowed it down quite a bit. Anytime you have a 16th note triplet on half of the beat, generally the first half, I want it to be, I like things very precise and mathematical myself, but at the very least, whatever you're doing within that triplet, just make sure that the next note happens right on the upbeat. So if you're practicing this, or if you're having a hard time in rehearsal, you can omit the second and third note in the triplets and treat it like just a single eighth note. Bum, bum, ba, 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 and then add those as you become more comfortable. Da 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 da, and so on. Aim for that upbeat. Here we go. I think snare was going the tempo that I wanted to go. But I was going a little slower than that. Let's go back to the beginning and take it at the tempo that I originally asked to go, which is faster than what I gave you. Watch for sforzandos. See if you can bring them out just a tiny bit more. Here we go. Beginning again. Okay, I don't know if I want to do the whole thing again, but it's short enough, maybe we do. Let's see. Passante could be a little bit heavier, a little bit more aggressive in the long notes. So the double half note, dotted quarter, eighth, that line, low reeds, low brass. Saxes and clarinets. I think you're about right, dynamically speaking. And then at pickups to 33, I think you all have a dynamic change down to mezzo forte, right? Part of the reason for that is we've introduced a new melodic line. I'm sorry, I should say, period. Clarinets and saxes have a dynamic change. So soprano clarinets and saxes have a dynamic change. If you're playing that low voice, my sentiment doesn't change here. You just keep being heavy. But there was just a little bit too much sax and soprano clarinet when we got to 33 and we're listening for the trumpet and trombone edition. All right, let's go ahead and start. Let's get into Passante. Maybe 17. 17. 17. Here we go. 1-7. Good. of this movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. Nothing happens on the and of one or on the upbeat of one. And then we have either quarter note or 16th note triplets. And so we want that note to ring a little bit, but have sort of a clear like demarcation between that note and what comes on beat 2. I think I didn't have to say anything about the dynamics that time before 57. It self-resolves, so that's great. There's when we get to 41 and we have 16th note triplets, I know part of it's the instrumentation and the range, but in flutes and oboes we have right at 41 we have da 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 da, and counter to that in alto clarinet, bass clarinet, bassoon, bari sax, tuba, 1 ba da 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 ba da da da, and it's, if you can imagine, it's a very 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 different dynamic presence up here. So I don't want any more volume than that in flutes and oboes, but if I could get more in the triplets in those low voices that I mentioned, starting in measure 42, that'd be very helpful. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next movement. Got tubas and low clarinets on one. Had some funny looks from baritones at 109 because I was looking at them instead of cueing horn. So sorry about that. Yeah, so you guys didn't miscount there. There was some funny things happening in the 4/4 bar in measure 103. Just make sure you're watching carefully there. It happens differently than it does previously in this piece. Let's see. So in like trumpets have the melody here. Bum, ba, da, da, dee, da, dum. it doesn't help that we also have a molto ritardando on top of the fact that we've stretched it into 4 instead of 3. So watch very, very, very carefully there. Otherwise, everything was moving very nicely. And when we have saxophone solo backed with a counter melody in baritone, let's go ahead and have just a tiny bit more baritone to just for the sake of balance. So alto was coming through quite clearly. The baritone sound was just getting kind of swallowed up, I think, in the space. So we'll see in sound check with the curtains down how it sounds. But for now, a little bit more over there. Cool. Next movement. Here we go. Who's got triangle on this? Only because you have there's like a key entrance in like the 4th bar. And I'll cue it. Here we go. Starts with only first clarinets. Good music. Here we go. Oh, cool. Let's try again. Yeah. Third movement. Sorry to put you on the spot, but thank you for covering it. Oh, I can also just cue it. I'll tell you what. Don't even use the music. Just watch me. I got you. Yeah, just watch me. Here we go. Where it says Poco Accelerando after 260 before 272. So just be watching there. I would like anyone who has, well, it's just a couple of you. So alto sax 1, tenor sax trombones at measure 242. Those house hop accents may be a little bit misleading. I want it to be a little bit lighter, Bop, 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 bop. Treat the accent, or I should say focus on the note length portion of the accent and a little bit less the volume and intensity of that accent. Because we have just trumpets playing a mezzo forte melody there. So, length of the accent, not so much the aggression. I think there may have been a little bit of miscounting. I want to get into this middle section once, and then we'll move on. Yeah, and then I'll stop. So let's have, please, measure 198. 198. Yes. Trombones, euphoniums, tubas, low clarinets, low saxes. Was that too fast for from the end? No. Okay, cool. I could use more of that, those voices specifically. Right. All right, cool. All right, other thoughts on this we'll address next time. Please give it up for Nick to lead you in YMCA and Down a Country Lane.
Okay, so we're doing YMCA tonight. The goal is to coordinate when our soloists, whenever they have to do their solo, is to stand up in enough time for them to be able to raise their music stand and also play their solo, and then be able to sit down in time to get back into music. So we'll be running through a lot of that stuff. And then I also want to add standing up for our soli people. The soli stuff happens in our specifically our trombones at letter E, and then the other soli section is measure pickups into F with our alto saxophones. So trombones, would you be okay with standing up at letter E? Thank you. And then saxophones, would you also be okay with doing your soli standing up as well? Cool. So I would raise my music stands up at least 2 measures beforehand. You can, if you play music 2 measures before your soli, you can just leave it out because it's most likely covered in someone else's part. That way, you have enough time to be able to do all the cool things. Cool. Let us start at the beginning. And then, soli people, just find 2 measures before you come in to stand up with your instrument. Yes. Berries, you can sit.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I'm sorry. It's. Yeah. All right. Beginning. Let's go for it. And oh, sorry, my bad. Are you ready? All right. Here we go. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. attempt at standing up for our solos. It almost went perfectly well. Let's fix a few things. The first one, Kevin, the first one I noticed, you waited one more beat than necessary on your solo at letter I. 1 and a 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 4 2 to 1, 2 2 to 3, 4 1. So don't make that rest longer than it is. Okay. And then Mark, on your solo at 74, you can start raising your music stand at measure 70. 1 before H. Start standing up 3 measures before H.
Well, I'm standing up.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. Yes, yes. 3 measures before H, start standing up. Cool. Trombone soli. We're going to give that another shot so that everyone can start standing. Let us do 3 measures before E. You can start raising your stands up. You can cut out the other stuff that you play there because it's covered in other parts. Okay? Cool, cool. Saxes were great, or altos were great. That was totally fine. You can play out a lot more altos since it's your moment to shine. And there's a lot of noodly notes. They'll be okay. All right. And then saxes, you can sit back down right when the soli ends before you go on to letter, or the repeat. And it'll be okay. Cool. Let's do that one more time. Let us start. Oh, before we do that, any questions before we do it again? Let us start at letter C now, so we can get these standings happening. Here we go. C. First time. C first time, so we can get all the solis. C first time. And 1, 2, letter C. Ready, set, now. Okay, the last thing, the numbers that we will do at letter J. Here are the people I have so far. Aisha, number 4. Anne, number 2. Brendan, number 5. So we're missing 1, 3, 6, 7, and 8. Any volunteers for number 1? Who wants to hold up a sign that says number 1? Any volunteers? You won't be the first one. Okay, cool. We have a number 1. Number 3. Gotcha. Number 7. Okay, you're number 7. Gotcha. Number 6. Awesome. Awesome. All right, raise your hand if you're number 1.
It doesn't matter.
Number 2. Number 3. 4. There you go. Number 5. 6. 7. And 8.
Now where do we stand?
You're just going to sit in your seat, and the number will be under your seat. You pick it up and hold it up. Like that.
When?
So at letter J, letter J will start with number 8. And then the next measure, number 7. The next measure, number 6.
So it's one per measure.
Yes, it's a countdown.
It's a countdown.
It's a
Now we have to
countdown.
pick the people who are going up.
7,
Like
6,
that.
5, 4,
I picked
3.
And the last one will be measure 100, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 after letter J. All right. Cool. Let us go. Sorry, we weren't going to get to your part today.
Do the groups at the Solis. You sound nice, play nice and controlled and all that. You sound like you're playing an ensemble. You need to not sound like an ensemble. You sound like you're the soloist playing to the crowd,
Yeah.
not like you're in a section here. Otherwise, you're gonna get lost.
Yes, I
Now we
agree.
can't hear you back here. Can't hear you at all.
Yeah. So play out. It's your moment to shine. Okay, let us go to Down a Country Lane, please.
But we didn't pick the dancers.
That's another logistical thing. We'll get through it. We'll get there.
Dance with me.
Maybe.
Maybe. I'll take that as a yes. You gotta take me on a date first, Ellen.
I pick them. I think Daddy Cruz would be good. I think Tyler should get out there.
All right, Down a Country Lane. Slowing it down a bit, cooling ourselves off. This will just be a full run beginning to end, hearing how we sound on this one. When it says a trifle faster, we will take it a trifle faster. So just make sure you watch. All right, here we go. Okay, measure 9 and 10, it is only clarinets. Yeah, there's no one else. Everyone else comes in at letter A. Can we start 2 measures before letter A? 2 before A. And ready. And. Nice job. Okay, one big thing with this one. A lot of the time when we're trying to play at a mezzo piano dynamic or a mezzo forte dynamic, our entrances aren't always coming out clear, and I can't really tell when the start of a note happens if you are a moving line. So specifically, that's really hard to hear if you are a person that comes in right at letter B, or you come in somewhere after letter B. And then if you have an entrance at letter C, or after letter C, a lot of those are hard to hear or not really clear. So be really aware of what dynamic you're coming in, and if you're supporting it with a nice articulation and supported air so that we can have really good sounds on those. Okay? I also said we were going to observe the breath mark at before letter B. We are no longer going to do it. I don't like it. So we're just going to go straight through and start. Go to letter B without the breath mark or rest in between. Okay, nice job on this one. Thank you.
Our next up is finale. Finale from Symphony Number 6. I think just about every time we've played this one has been very much up to tempo. One of the few that we haven't slowed down. I don't want to go super slow, but let's just feel relaxed with the understanding that it's gonna not be relaxed when we play it in concert. So this is nice, easy tempo for this piece. Here we go. All together at the beginning. great job staying steady. There's just a lot of loud in this piece, which is fine. But anytime you have anything that's not fortissimo or maybe not even forte, take that as an opportunity to really over-exaggerate that. How many times do we have piano or softer in this piece individually? One? Is that right?
The movements were not playing.
And when you're not playing, yeah, resting very quietly. And so, yeah, like I said, if it's not fortissimo, I think what he's trying to get at is very loud and bold and grandiose. There can still be a dynamic range, right? It's not like down here. It's not necessarily the full range, or maybe we only like tease the very softest dynamics a little bit. But we don't have to always live right here either. So there's a lot more room here to explore as well. Okay, cool. Anybody have any questions or want to touch on any sections on this piece? I think 16th notes are mostly runs, 16th notes and what is it called? A 5. Oh my gosh, quintuplet. I was like, non-tuplet? No, that's not right. So the quintuplets and 16 notes and so on. I think we have maybe we're going to have a tendency to rush those a little bit. If we can get them perfectly in time at slower tempos, then when we get up to the faster tempo, we can stay true to the rhythm and the segmentation of the beat. Let's continue on now to applause, please. Applause. One thing I noticed from sitting out there, especially, I think we talked about this in previous concert, there's a visual element to some of the things that we do. We were talking about like the signs. Some of you were very enthusiastic holding up your hands, which I appreciate. It'll look even better when there are signs in them. The clapping, though, was very like lukewarm. It was a lot of like, and even if you're not like blistering your hands from clapping super loud or anything like that, the visual part is what people are going to see, even if they can't hear it, and then you'll get them going too. So, cool. All right, applause. So we're going to go about the same tempo we just did. This is the full tempo for this one, though. And if you want to practice finale and want to know what tempo we're going, it's about 136, 140. This is 140 for applause. Here we go. I think there's something I can do to convey this better. I am fundamentally opposed to counting off the beginning of pieces, just something that I picked up in college. Let me see what I can do. Here we go. Because some of you have syncopation at the beginning, be very careful to not diminish the rest. And if you're playing straight eighth notes, really lock it in with me, please. Here we go. I want to take it to the end, but just one challenge for you. This is a pop tune. When you listen to it on the radio, it's mostly one dynamic. We maybe have our volume cranked really loud. So even the soft stuff sounds really loud. Try to, not to harp on it, but try to bring alive the other dynamics in this. So the audience thinks, oh my gosh, like I didn't know that this piece had some, like delicate sections in it. All right, cool. Right there, which is measure 25, please. Ba, 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 ba. Okay? Everybody know where we are? Can we have more castanet? Yeah, it's right to the front. All right, cool. Here we go. 25. Explore the dynamics. Yeah, thank you for doing that. Each time we have that subito piano. And then just to point something out real quick, measure 96. Nothing happens on the downbeat of 2. Nothing happens on the downbeat of 2. The first thing that happens is trumpets and flutes and oboes have pickups basically to the next measure starting the and of 2. So, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-bop, ba-da-da-da-da-da. So we want to give it just a moment for that to ring. I'm sorry, horns it's still nobody on 2, but horns, there's that and of 1 that only you have. So, but Dave, can we say pretty short on that 8th note?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So really, ideally, we like the downbeat of 2 to just be kind of like a ringing sound, not a sustain. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and have some quick announcements. And yeah, keep it quick. I believe in you. Now, how many of you guys got the newsletter? Cool. Awesome. Not all the announcements are in there, so that's why we're having a couple right now. And then I'll see you on the other side of break.
Okay, so since there isn't a rehearsal a week from tonight, this is an important night to get with your sections about the section baskets for the silent auction. And this is also a good time to think about if you're going to contribute something like a standalone larger item. And we had a few good ones come in the past few days. Yay, Paul Nowakowski, yay, Susan, and so forth on those. And then we should tell them the dress rehearsal. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, those auction baskets are going to be super important, so please make sure that Ellen knows your theme so that we can get like signs printed for all that and we know what's going to be in them roughly, so we can give some kind of like approximate value, at the concert.
Oh, and then don't forget, we still have the song sponsorships, and there are several songs that aren't taken yet. So,
Our last fundraiser / performance of the concert season. Okay, so unfortunately, since we are not rehearsing next week, I've got to make up for that with a few very critical announcements, both for concert band business and also for Pride band business. First things first, in June, we'll say this every week, dress rehearsal is Wednesday the 14th, not Friday, because we had to move it because of availability. So I'll keep reminding you because I forgot. Ellen was gracious enough not to point me out by name in the email, but I definitely completely spaced on that. The other thing, for Pride, we've been sending out a weekly newsletter on Tuesdays. We have the full packet that has end-to-end instructions, links, everything. Theoretically speaking, you read that, it should take care of 99% of the things that you should have questions on or could go wrong. If you're not getting that email or you signed up recently, please make sure that you tell Michael Eves, please wave, so you can add your email to the list before it goes out tomorrow. Same thing for concert band. If you're not getting the rehearsal emails for symphonic or pep band, he can get you added just to make sure you don't miss out on those. But the 4 most important things for Pride. Please make sure if you're going to be borrowing an instrument that you click that link to sign the Google form. You verified like, hey, I'm going to take care of this, and if I break it, it's my fault. So that way all the schools that are giving us loaner equipment, we don't get band directors fired if something happens to them. That would be sad. They might not let us borrow it again. 2, please make sure you RSVP for the party. We need to give Sue Ellen's a pretty decent head count to make sure there are enough bartenders and food there for all of us. So please let us know if you're coming or not, and if so, if you're planning on eating or drinking, because they were talking about having somewhere between 1 to 3 bartenders exclusively for us. I would hate for them to feel like they overstaffed or understaffed. And then make sure you print your music. We are not providing printed music for Pride, so it's really important that you click that folder and print it. If you can't or need help with that, talk to Nick, please. And the 4th thing is the spiffy shirts should be here, fingers crossed, next week. So they should be here Wednesday. I'm not going to be able to give them to you in time for Pep Band, but we will start handing those out on Friday at the welcome dinner and then on rehearsal on Saturday. If you pre-registered already, please make sure you pay for your shirt if you're marching. That way it's a one and done and you can have that for all future years. If you're volunteering like as a Band-Aid or you know someone who is, or you're doing the festival booth, you don't have to buy the shirt, but if you want one, they look pretty cool, feel free to buy one. If you're volunteering and being out in the heat, stroking with us and all that kind of fun stuff, we've covered a lot of the volunteers because they're not getting any benefit from marching, but we wanted to give them a thank you anyway. Cool. That's a lot of word vomit about Pride. I'm really hoping you all read the email. It's said a lot better in there. We will also have drum major auditions at our next rehearsal, June the 5th. I know this is a first as far as I know. We have a lot of pep band events scheduled next year because the pep band is in very high demand. If you have any interest in flapping your arms around like a chicken in front of the band, no experience required. Please see Nick so that he knows who all wants to do it. We just need some people to step up and run events so that way Nick can start delegating some of those out. Don't stress. It's not hard. You just maybe pick a wine walk or a zoo light, something that's going to be fun for you, and you get to conduct. Should be fairly straightforward. The pep band will be here to play beautifully regardless of how you feel like you're doing. It'll be great. It'll be wonderful. Talk to Nick, please. We need how many? 3. You want 3? Okay. Cool. Last but not least, it is with great pride and joy and pleasure that I can announce to you that we have a 100% full slate of nominees for the board this year. So for all of you that have text messages from me that you haven't answered yet, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Just kidding. You all answered. You were great. But the board would like to propose the following nominations for next year's board. For Vice President, Miss Megan Livingston. Woo! For secretary, carrying over, Mr. Michael Eves. For treasurer, Miss Brianne Swift. Yeah. The math person. For social media manager, Miss Kaylin Flint. For director of membership, to make sure you've all filled out your attendance stuff, Paul Nowakowski. For the director of community engagement, Christian Eliza. And the one I'm personally most excited about, I'm excited for all of you, but the one I'm most excited about, for director of fundraising, Frank Madrano. Yeah. And we also have not one, but two potential future presidents for you this year. Brianne and Caitlin will be filling the role of president-elect for you to elect from next year for my job. Woo! How awesome is that? Now, if anybody else would like to nominate somebody, you may do so anytime between now and our next rehearsal, at which point we will take the formal vote. Feel free to if you want. These are the recommendations we are making. And then we also will have more announcements in June about some other cool roles that have been filled that we've had vacant for a while. It is going to be a great year. I will now shut up before Mark throws something at me so that we can have our break. Oh, I lied. Who's a new person? I left you out. Who's new? Hi. Okay, now break.
See you all the time. We also got
Did I get your last name right? Okay.
I was so impressed. No, I was so
It probably is. Nick is the one that was specifying that he wants black, but last year I wore like these. So I think black shorts is the most important part.
Nothing black shorts. I figured that next year you said something about doing white shirts.
Well, so remember how we had both options available? I think next year we'll just buy the white ones, so then everybody can just pick back and forth.
Yeah, just let me know.
Because black is going to be hot, but hey, it's what everybody voted for. He did technically say black shoes, just confirm with Nick his membership, but honestly, if you're in the shirt and black shorts, you're probably okay. Especially if those are comfortable.
I don't know.
Well, make sure they're comfortable. That's the important part. Don't get a blister like I did, because last year the little plastic piece back here broke. It started cutting up my ankle. Yeah. We'll just have to like.
Well, thank you. I do thank you for that one, because that one pulled a lot.
responsibility.
There's a lot of things I will do. I think clothes is not one of them.
I'll text you.
It's not that bad. There are worse things.
I told him, I was like, all right, let's make our way back to our seats, please.
Well, you can change it while you're on the board.
I will. You said you want to make a change, join the board. Join the board. I just need us to look nice, Jonathan. It's not too hard for us to ask for. I just want us to look good. Hey, Mark. Let's give it another 10 or 15 seconds, and then we'll play a B flat altogether. B flat. Cool. Sondheim. We're going to bump Grace in being off of the end of the rehearsal. We warmed up with that the last 2 weeks, so we're gonna. Or sorry, I guess we didn't do it last week, did we? We're gonna still bump it off anyway. We'll make sure to play it next week, or 2 weeks from now. Very beginning, Sondheim. I'll try to only stop when I really mean it. Here we go. Is that too fast? That's pretty much right on. Okay. That's full mark tempo. Here we go. No, 17. 17. A little slower. Listening for melody when you come in at 25. Here we go. 17. One more time. Faster. We're going up. Same place. There's two transitions in there that I'd like to look at. Right there, alto sax and tenor sax. It's just you in measure 102 with moving eighth notes. Remember that I'm suddenly going into 4 at 102, but I'm going to go ahead and keep the same pulse otherwise. So it's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay? And then the other transition was when we slow down to 120, measure 55. And it's ultimately going to be up to Jordan and me to make that happen, I think. So let's go. I don't want to do that whole section again, but let's do both of those transitions and continue on. Here's 44, please. 44. Here we go. 44. It's Megan. It's not Jordan. I was looking at the wrong person. You both, Jordan, you've got some cool syncopated stuff, but the time that I was hearing on hi-hat. So I'll look at you instead. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was much better. And I think instead of trying to like gradually slow down and then hit 120, what I'll probably do is like a sudden tempo change, maybe 1 or 2 before, just so we're locked in. Bop, bop, bop. Cool. All right, let's do the other transition and keep going. This is measure 102, 101, 100, 99, 98. I have measure numbers at the bottom. 97. All my measures are numbered. 97. Ba, ba, ba. So everybody's fortissimo. 3 notes in a measure. Ba, ba, ba. That's where we're starting. Here we go. Same tempo we were just at. Did I give too many beats there? We're 9/8 for 1 bar. Bum 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 Ba-dum, ba-da, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, ba-da, ba-da. I could do better, or I mean, I could use the repetition. So let's go ahead and go back to 103, right on it. 103. Good job in this part. 103. Yeah, okay, cool. So at 163, Menomoso, we've slowed down quite a bit, but we're still in 2. So 2 before 163 looks like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 1, and. Ba, ba, bum, bum, bum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Cool.
Where are you in 4?
In 4 is where it says in 4, the 6th bar of 163.
Is it 159 did you want?
Nope. I was in 2 all the way throughout that. It slows down in 161. It's still in 2 though. Still in 2 at 163. And then, like I said, right at that 4/4, I'm switching suddenly into 4. But just like earlier with the saxes, the beat is going to stay the same here. So we're going exactly half tempo at that point. All right, let's get into that. I'd like more, even though it's marked mezzo piano in trumpets, I kind of want to discard that dynamic maybe in measure 150. I still want that crescendo, but you're coming in the middle of a bunch of other stuff happening, and so there has to be some presence to that sound. Let's start at 143 without pickups. 143. Bum, 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 bum. Here it is. 143. 143. before I forget, in drum set, are we doing just downbeats, or is there upbeat stuff happening at 144? I think it's just downbeat stuff, but I'm 140. I'm sorry, where the tempo is 144, but the measure is 201. 201, jaunty with energy. Are you? And it's in 4 though. It's in 4. But boom, boom. In my score, and I might be looking. Are you reading the percussion 1 part? Yes. Okay. I have in my part snare drum on rem is like 2, 3, 4. Boom. Maybe, but you weren't the only one. Yeah, we're gonna do it again. So yeah, there's multi-retardando right before that. Something else. 195. There is it's. I think it's kind of understated, but there is a crescendo all the way from the 3rd bar of 195, also known as 197, until we get to that tempo change. And so we're adding voices in, and we're also crescendoing. So unlike what I've said in Grace and Being, in this case, we're doing both. So we're trying to have like a really accelerated crescendo here, really suddenly going from very thin and very quiet to very loud. Let's see, to get into that, let's start at 185. Watch me in general in this section. I'd like to push and pull the tempo a little bit, rather than keep it just like at a steady 116 all the way through. But yeah, this is 185, please. 185. 185. Everyone's in. Trumpets 1 beat late, but thank you for playing it anyway. I want to do the ending for security. Can you find measure 234 for me, please? 234. Even if it doesn't make sense. 234 to the end. Here we go. 234. Yep, there we go. All right. There's still some shaky transitions in this one. I think with repetition we're going to get it. I still encourage you to listen to the recordings on the YouTube playlist. And on that note, I realized, and I don't know what happened, but one time when I pulled out the email and looked at it, that banner that's rainbow and says, like, listen to the tunes or whatever it says, was absent from the email. It was just completely missing on my phone. And I took a screenshot and I sent it to Michael, and I went back like 10 minutes later and it was there. in the exact same email. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to make sure, maybe it's in not in plain text, but the hyperlink is not a banner, maybe, or not a graphic, just in case you're having some issues on your device. But it has been there all along. So someone said last week it wasn't there. It's probably something to do with the graphic, maybe. All right, let's continue on, please. Next up. What's that?
We send you a separate one.
Aw, thank you. Yeah, keep me quiet, right? Okay, next up is Hymn for the Lost. I've had an idea that I've toyed with for it's probably been a couple years since I came up with this, or not came up with it, heard of this idea. It's this really great book, co-authored by Benjamin Zander and Rosamund Stone Zander, called The Art of Possibility. And Benjamin Zander is I don't know if he's retired now or if he's still a conductor for the Boston Philharmonic, but he's a conductor. His wife is a psychologist and therapist, and they're taking like musical ideas and sticking them into like the corporate world. So as a musician, it's really fun to listen to. As an added bonus, the audiobook actually has musical excerpts in it, so that's like a refreshing thing for a nonfiction. But one of the things that was brought up in one of Benjamin Zander's allegories was having someone within, like, he asked someone to like come up on the podium and conduct. I don't know if I necessarily want to go that far to just yank one of you up here and be like, okay, good luck. But one thing that I think a lot of us miss from sitting, in the ensemble week after week is the perspective outside of the ensemble. I know Adam, one of our saxophone players, had a chance to like listen to the band on the other side, and it's like, wow, I had no idea we sounded like that. And I suspect that something similar might be the case for a lot of you. And granted, we do have the recordings that Mason is making one concert after the next and has been doing so from the beginning. But I think it would be fun, and maybe section leaders, or section managers, I might enlist your help in figuring out how we can get people out and listening during rehearsals and not have big holes in the sound. So I'm throwing that out there into the ether. I think that's especially relevant in this one because none of you have ever heard this recorded before, because this piece is being premiered by us on this concert. So, oh, I didn't send those out, did I? Let me set an actual like alarm so that I remember to do that. I don't know about you guys, but I leave rehearsal and I'm like totally checked out. I think I give it all, and then I'm like driving home and I'm just like, so. Yeah, let me set an alarm, and we'll start from the top of Hymn for the Lost and play it straight through. And time 10:30 p.m. Okay, here we go. Thank you for the reminder. Oh, yeah, and it's half notes. And I think I was slow. No, I wasn't. Okay. Here we go. So that's glockenspiel. You guys on the phone? happening in trumpets last week and this week, where you're beating me to beat 1 in measure 45. And it's not like an entire measure. It's like 1 beat maybe. And it could be because of what you're hearing with the 30-second notes, because they're alternating. So what happens in trumpets specifically, this is also in soprano and alto saxophone, and in clarinet, and in piccolo, flute, oboe. So you have, in measure 40, I can't do it. Rest. Okay. And alternate to that, there's 30-second notes that are happening on beats 1 and 3 in there that I think might be throwing us off. So I'm doing, just for your awareness, an exceptionally distinct beat 1 on the downbeat of measure 45. So if you're watching, you'll see a huge downbeat at 45 from me, and that's where we're all having some of the voices, like low voices, you're not going down, you're going up. So, all right, let's start plays at 41. 41. Here we go. 41. I think we're in two different places, and that's my fault. Before the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars. 6 from the end for me. Here we go. 6 from the end. This is where brass comes in. Low brass, anyway, and horns. I'll tell you, since we're here, there is a crescendo in the last 3 bars after forte piano. So forte piano happens 3 from the end, crescendo all the way to the last note. If you are not playing 3 from the end and you have a mezzo forte, crescendo from mezzo forte to the end. All right. We don't have enough time to go all the way through March Militaire, but I would love to touch a little bit of it. Let's maybe look at near the end. Not near the end. Where is it? 8. Rehearsal 8. Not measure 8, rehearsal 8. Here we go. 8. Not much going on in percussion on this one, so we can dive right in. Here we go. 8. And just like that, it's 9:30. Thank you all so much. Remember, no rehearsal next week. Have a safe and fun Memorial Day weekend. And then we'll see you the next weekend for Pride. Very excited about that. And then we will, I'm sorry, but we will have rehearsal the day after the parade. We just have to, with the concert coming up shortly thereafter. So, plans for future concert seasons are to have the final rehearsal for Symphonic Band be in May. And that way, after Pride weekend, you don't have to worry about coming to rehearsal on Monday. You can just recover. So, thank you all so much. And if you have any questions or anything for me, feel free to come talk to me. Otherwise, see y'all in a couple weeks.
Love it.
Oh, wait for
tried to bring it out in my conducting a little bit, but it bears repeating.
Then again here, was it 127 and 120? It's the same motif.
What was the measure for the other one?
So they have like three other people. Yeah, they have like three other people in line.
38, 39, 27. Right?
Yeah, I think it's when they're the piccolo.
I would say I will.
I think it's a forte, but
I will say I email her again.
Pickles.
Like
yeah.
I told her
Yeah,
I was like, I
because
have
the
somebody
new
good. Like, she's like, yeah, we've got a list of like people who want to play.
It's just not, like, there's not a presence.
That's what I'm saying.
old melody just
So I'm working on. I'm working on. I was sending an email.
Sounds good.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
How was the tempo?
So like